You don't notice disconnection when it begins. It doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't announce itself at the door. It whispers in the spaces you stop touching, in the moments you stop reaching, in the conversations that used to go deep and now only skim the surface. You tell yourself, we're just busy. But something deeper is happening, something that busy does not explain and time alone will not fix. Because the longer you go without intimacy, the more your partner starts to feel like a stranger who knows your name. And that is not a small thing. That is the quiet erosion of everything a marriage is supposed to be, not a dramatic collapse, not a single betrayal, just a slow, almost imperceptible disappearing, until one day you look across the table at the person you chose and you realize you cannot remember the last time you truly reached for them. Not out of anger, not out of resentment, simply out of habit. You have become the distant companion. You are there but not fully there. You speak, you laugh, you share a bed, you move through the routines of a shared life. From the outside, the relationship looks intact. But something essential has gone quiet. And the strange, painful part, you don't feel like you are doing anything wrong. You feel like you are showing up. You feel like the love is still there, still real, still present in some form you cannot quite articulate but are certain about. The problem is this: your partner cannot feel what you do not express. And to them, your absence is not neutral. It is not simply the absence of closeness. To them, your absence is louder than any argument you have ever had. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most couples never say out loud. Disconnection in marriage is rarely caused by conflict. It is caused by neglect, dressed up so convincingly as ordinary life that neither person recognizes it until the distance has become the default. This is how emotional atrophy begins. Not through betrayal, not through a single devastating moment you can point to and say, that is where things broke. Through absence, through the thousand small moments of withholding, the touch you did not give, the question you did not ask, the look across the room that used to mean something and now does not come at all. Intimacy is not primarily physical. It is the ongoing act of saying, without words, I still see you, I still choose you, you still matter to me above the noise of everything else. And when that disappears, when the small invisible gestures of choosing stop, something begins to shift inside your partner that they may not even have language for yet. Psychologists call it the anxious avoidant trap. Your partner begins asking silently, not to you, but to themselves in the quiet moments when they reach for connection and find only air. Why don't they reach for me anymore? What changed? What did I do? But they do not confront you, because confronting you would require admitting how much it hurts. And admitting how much it hurts would mean acknowledging how long they have been carrying it alone. So instead, they adapt. They pull back, they become cooler, quieter, more self-contained. They stop initiating. They learn to need you less, because needing you and not being met has become more painful than simply going without. Not because they stopped loving you, but because continuing to love you fully, while feeling invisible to you, had become too costly to sustain. And so the distance between you grows, quietly, mutually, until both of you are living parallel lives inside the same home and calling it a relationship because you do not have another word for what it has become. And here is what most people are not willing to say plainly. A relationship does not die when love fades. It dies when effort becomes optional, when connection is treated as something that will simply maintain itself if nothing catastrophic happens, when two people mistake the absence of crisis for the presence of health. But this did not start in your marriage. It started in the home you grew up in, long before you understood what a marriage was or what it required. Maybe you came from a place where affection was rare, not because you were unloved, but because love was assumed rather than expressed, where people stayed together for decades without ever really reaching for each other, where closeness was not modeled, so it was never learned. You absorbed a belief so early that it never felt like a belief at all. It simply felt like the truth: people stay. Even without emotional connection, they stay. Presence is enough. Being there is enough. And so you brought that belief into your marriage without knowing you were carrying it. You are not neglecting your partner out of cruelty. You are loving them in the only language you were ever taught. The tragedy is that your partner is fluent in a different one, and the distance between those two languages, one that expresses love through staying and one that needs love to be actively, visibly felt, is where the disconnection lives. Here is the quiet truth that this entire conversation has been building toward. Intimacy is not something you feel your way back into. It is something you act your way back into. This matters because most couples wait. They wait until they feel close again before they reach for each other. They wait for the warmth to return before they offer the gesture. But the warmth does not come first. The gesture does. The action creates the feeling, not the other way around. A touch, a genuine question, a moment of full, undivided presence where you put down everything else and simply attend to the person in front of you. These are small things. They take seconds. They cost nothing in any material sense. But they carry the full weight of what a marriage actually runs on. Because your partner is not asking for perfection. They are not asking for grand gestures or dramatic declarations. They are asking for something far simpler and far more difficult, proof, given regularly and without being asked for, that they still matter. The question is no longer whether you love them. The question is whether they can still feel it, whether the love that lives inside you is finding its way out, into your hands, your eyes, your voice, your choices, in ways that reach them. Because love that is only felt and never expressed is, from the outside, indistinguishable from its absence. So sit with this honestly. If your partner gave you exactly the same level of presence, attention, and emotional reach that you have been giving them recently, would you feel loved? Or would you feel slowly, quietly forgotten? If that question makes you uncomfortable, do not move past the discomfort quickly. Stay with it. Because that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something in you still knows the difference between a relationship that is alive and one that is simply continuing. And knowing the difference is always where the return begins. The most important conversation you will ever have about your marriage is not with your partner. It is the one you have with yourself, honestly, about the person you have been choosing to be inside it.